Here's why Google Ads is not working for your heavy duty truck repair shop. Hey guys, my name is Corey. I'm the founder here at RepairLift, and we're an agency that specifically helps heavy duty diesel shops generate more breakdown work and also more commercial fleet accounts. Today, I'd like to talk about why Google Ads is not working for your business. Every single day, we get calls from people who are using Google Ads for their truck repair shop, and they're not happy with the outcome for one reason or another. A lot of the times, it's because they're not spending enough money, so they're not getting enough leads. A lot of times, they're getting leads and getting some customers, but they are not getting any sort of groundbreaking difference in their revenues. And then other times, guys are spending money and they feel like they're just lighting it on fire. So there's a number of reasons why this happens. Before we jump into those reasons, I just want to quickly show you guys kind of what we're talking about here to make sure that we're all on the same page. So check it out. Guy breaks down. In this case, he's probably limping and he's looking for a shop near him. So he's going to type in semi-truck shop near me. Keep in mind, this happens every single day in every single area, both over-the-road drivers, box truck drivers from local either owner-operators or part of local fleets, construction equipment. Guys got a dump truck on a construction site that needs help, oil rigs, if you light duty stuff, if you're into 2500s and stuff. This happens every single day. And here's what people see. They break down, they search, and check it out. So they're going to see 4 listings here. Well, I'm seeing from this search anyway, right? The first one is sponsored. All these other ones are organic. What that means is this guy at the top is paying to be here. Okay, now he's only going to pay if someone actually clicks on this ad. If they don't click on his ad, it is free. All the rest of the people are here because Google has decided that they're relevant, okay, which is great because the traffic is free, but it is very difficult to make Google decide that you are relevant, and there's never guarantees on it. With paid ads, you can literally just pay Google to place you where you want to be. There's a couple reasons why this strategy is very effective. One is because you're essentially just paying Google a commission to send a relevant visitor to your site. Okay? The idea is that you will pay Google for every single one of those visitors that they send, and a certain percentage of those visitors will call you. So for example, maybe you're going to pay $5 a click. You're going to get 1 in 5 people who click to actually call you, which means you're getting a $25 cost per call, which is the heavy duty industry. You're looking anywhere from 20 to $50 a call, depending on what you're bidding on. Obviously, used tires are cheaper than something related to injector, radiator, etc. But you get the drift. Essentially, what we're talking about today is why your sponsored ads aren't working. So there's going to be a few reasons. The first one is because you are not targeting the right keywords. So if you are going to run ads on Google, right, you need to very strictly target where you're showing your ads, right? Because if you just use basic broad targeting, your entire budget is going to get eaten up by AAA calls, right? If you're in Canada, that's CAA, or auto towing calls, or roadside assistance for regular cars and passenger vehicles, which is not what you do. And therefore, you're spending money and actually wasting money because you're getting leads, but you're not getting the right type of lead. Okay? And that means that your targeting is off. I think there's a few agencies in the heavy duty diesel space. I think any one of them can help you solve this problem because they're already going to have a strong keyword list. They're already going to have a very strong negative keyword list, meaning right out of the gate, you're going to get good targeting on your ads. Of course, you'll need to make sure and verify that you're targeting the right radius. You don't want to be targeting people 2 hours away who will call you, and yeah, you'll go there, but you're never competitive enough to win that call to begin with. So that's one of the things, radius. And then of course, hours of operation. You don't want to be showing your ads when you're closed and burning money there. Now targeting can be, oh, I just want heavy duty stuff, or hey, I just want heavy duty engine related stuff, right? Of course, the tighter the targeting, the lower the volume, probably the higher the cost per lead is going to be, explaining it so you get the drift of the different types of targeting that you could do. So if your ads aren't working, the most common thing we see is your targeting is off, and that's because you don't have good keywords. A lot of people try to do this themselves, or they try to work with an agency who's not in the space. Auto is completely different. Even though it's kind of the same, it is completely different type of marketing. I know this because I do have auto shop clients that we work with, and it is very different from diesel. targeting and getting relevant traffic is going to be the first reason why you are failing. The second reason you're failing is because you're only using Google Ads for something where Google Ads is like the top layer, but there's other layers to this funnel. And if you're not using those layers, then you're not getting the visibility you need to make sure that what you're doing is working. I'll give you an example. So let's just imagine my budget was $3,000 a month on Google, which is $100 a day. And let's just pretend my cost per call was going to be $20, math's sake. That means I'm going to spend $3,000. I'm going to get 5 calls a day, which means I'm going to get 150 calls a month. Now, if we're just taking Google's word for it, we have no idea what's actually going on those calls. You may be like, oh, I'm seeing more auto tow calls, or I'm seeing more of this call, but you have no idea. It's just kind of like, I think this is happening. And you have no way to verify that those calls are coming from these ads versus coming from your Google business listing or, your website or some other source, right? You have no idea where anything's coming from. Okay, so the first thing you need is a tracking system. When we run ads, we are very focused on lead quality, because I know that you would much rather pay $50 for a good qualified lead than $20 for a guy who's living in his motorhome, and he's got, his air conditioning is not working, or his toilet is clogged, or something that you don't want to fix, and he probably doesn't have the money to pay you. Even though it's a cheaper cost per lead, it's not what you're looking for. What you're really doing this for is good qualified leads. And as long as the cost per acquisition is reasonable, then you are going to scale this, right? So for example, if I'm sending you $50 leads and you're closing 1 in 3, and that's $150 cost per acquisition, and your average ticket is $1,500, well, you're getting a 10x ROI, and you're obviously going to, continue doing this and try to actually scale it. But if you don't have a tracking system in place, you can't see those calls. You don't know how good they are. You don't know if the good ones are coming from ads, or if just by a lucky stroke of the draw, you started ads on these days, a cold snap hit, and these ads are actually producing junk, and the Google business profile that you always use is just producing higher quality and higher volume, because there's obviously now more business out there today. You may think that this is driving the traffic when it's actually not. So we need a call tracking system so that we can clearly identify which calls are coming from Google Ads. Then we want to score those calls. So as you can see on my screen here, every single call that we generate for clients gets scored, because we know that if we generate you good calls, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to spend more money with us. You're going to keep working with us. It's very important to us, not just to make sure we're generating you calls, but to make sure we're generating good calls. So check it out. Truck Peterbilt. So we can see first time caller, yes, no. We can see their service intent and whether they booked an appointment or not. We also have other notes as well. Whether you close the call or not is obviously on you. What we're looking for here is making sure we're generating calls that are relevant, so stuff that you fix in your service area and in and around your service time. That's what we want to make sure we're generating. So check it out. So here I see Peterbilt 2022, Peterbilt 589, water leak out of motorhome. This guy does motorhomes. 2000 International, Isuzu, another international, a bunch of just random truck trailer here, Cascadia, Peterbilt, etc. So check it out. All this stuff is audited, because that's how we know that what we're generating is not just any call, but actually good calls that you can work on. Because check this out. This is our math equation here. And so let's just say we put in $3,000 and our cost per click is, say, $10, and we're getting a 30% conversion ratio. Hey, well, let's just say 25, which means now we're getting cost per leads at $40, which is 75 leads a month. Now, if 50% of those are junk, that's only, a little over 35 leads. So your cost per lead, your qualified leads probably double, right? But if those are 75 good leads, then you're probably going to convert a good chunk of them. So let's check this out. So for $3,000, $40 cost per lead, that means we're getting 2 to 3 phone calls a day. We're closing 25% of those at an average ticket of $1,200. That means that our $3,000 generated us almost 20 new customers, which is around $23,000 in revenue and 7.5x ROI. Now, guys, every account is going to be different. Budget's going to be a little bit different. Cost per click, conversion rate, closing rate is a huge one. An average ticket is a huge one. If you cannot close, this will not work for you. If you're running $400 or $500 average tickets, well, I think this will actually help you a lot, because that probably just means you're only getting like tire calls and like little roadside calls, and you're probably not getting any like clutches, transmission, radiator, in frames, even head gasket, etc., which are all things that we target with our Google ads because we want to make sure we're not just driving, again, anything, but actually really good stuff. So if your average ticket value before doing something like this is low, this actually should help bring it up. But that is kind of how this is going to work. And as you can see, little tweaks to this can create big improvements. All right. So let's just watch what happens when I turn this closing rate from 25 to 30. Wow, look at that. 27,000. We're at a 9x ROI. If I can get our conversion rate up to 30% and our cost per lead down to 33, look, you can see this jumps up even further, almost 11x ROI. So anyway, the reason your Google ads are not working in your heavy duty shop is because you are not doing this, right? You're only putting up ads. Either you're doing them yourself, your wife is doing them, or you have some agency who doesn't understand the space doing them. Or maybe you're already working with some agency in the space, but they're not on a performance model like we are. So they're probably just charging you a flat retainer and it probably feels like they're not doing anything, which is something that we've heard a lot of. And so if you start taking the rest of the funnel seriously, you start paying attention to lead quality, optimizing for good quality leads, you're going to get a much nicer return. And I'll just quickly show you a couple reviews here. Yeah, I'm going to show you 2 reviews actually of 2 guys who used to be with another diesel agency, which basically from the top line does the exact same thing as us. The only difference is we're very focused on the lead quality, where I know that they aren't. And this is what both of these guys said. So check this out. This guy started with us in September. Revenues at 30K when he started. Best month ever in October at 44K. So 50% increase immediately, which isn't that impressive because it's a tiny little business. Expecting to close 100,000 in December. Wow, not so much of a tiny little business anymore, right? And again, this was a guy who was previously working with another agency. Here's another gentleman here who we've been working with for quite a while. And I'll just point this out here. He says RepairLift has done what the other agency could only claim to do. On the first day we went live, we had an increase in call volume. In their first 30 days, we had an increased customer count of 78%. Nearly all of that came from RepairLift ads that resulted in roughly 18,000 in gross revenue from those customers. Keep in mind, like if you're not getting new customers because you're not doing this type of advertisement, like this guy, he was just the agency who was doing it with wasn't doing it properly. Increasing new customer count by 78% is actually not that impressive, but it really still is cool to see 18,000 in gross revenue within the first 30 days directly attributed to our ads, which is over a 5x return on investment, within the first 30 days, which I find to be impressive. Anyway, if your ads aren't working, it's probably one of those few things. If you want more insights, follow our content, watch our videos, and you'll be able to learn that way. Or if you just want to say, hey, screw it, I want to partner with somebody and have them do this for me, and I want to make sure that I partner with the best company who's only going to partner with one person in my area, and reach out to us, see if your area is available. We do still have some openings, but of course, if your area is taken, there's nothing we can do. As always, thank you so much for your time. Let us know in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What type of problems are you having in your Google account? Are you even running Google ads, or have you still not even looked at that? Let us know in the comments and we'll see you next time.